Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another edition of Talk That Tech. The
Number one tech morning show in the world. Good
yes,
morning.
good morning. Yum. Uh, glad that we are here to talk about a lot of topics today. I mean, it feels like the world is going through a lot in general. But before we do, man, go ahead if you are new to the channel, like, comment, and subscribe. Use a comment section as your notepad. That's how I like to say it, because there's a lot of things that we could definitely talk about today for sure. So you want to make sure that you are actually tuned in, locked in with us today and are ready to comment. And like always, this is a call-in show. So if there's anything that you want to share that from your personal experience, things you may have heard of, go ahead and feel free to call into the show. The link is dropped below. And if you are new, just know that you might have seen us before on other channels. We are doing everything on Talk That Tech channel specifically. So if you were familiar with that, just know that that's where you're going to see our content from now on. And just want to make sure that you are enjoying that, especially if you are watching, if you're listening from podcast form and you want to catch a video, know that's exactly where we are at, y'all. And so, with that being said, let's start off with the weekend, brother. How was your weekend, man?
Man, it was I felt like I was in prison. I was locked down, man. It was
Man.
pretty, yeah, it was pretty like just stuck really. My daughter was a little sickly, so she just wanted to be held and just like that's it. Very, very crying and all the signs of a baby, and so um, had to tend to it, man. Had to tend to it. I feel like it was time well spent, like just not doing anything. But I found myself thinking like, dang, I didn't do anything today. Dang, I didn't do anything today. Dang, I didn't,
Yeah.
like, multiple times. And so,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, ultimately that's how it was, bro. I was really at home. I did have to go take her to the hospital, like the Cook's Children, just to make sure
Oh,
nothing was like super super wrong. But um, yeah, they gave some meds, and so we've been getting that in her. She's back to her old self for the most part. But
okay.
yeah, it was just at the house. um,
Okay.
and then you couple that with it getting a little chilly here in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be out anyway, to be honest. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was the weekend, man. That was the weekend.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you had I mean daddy duties plus a storm and that you were dealing with. No fun. No
Yeah,
fun
yeah,
at all.
cause
So
wifey had to work this weekend. She works 3 days a week so that she can be off most of the actual work week. So she can be with the baby. So yeah, that was what it was, man. That was what it was.
wow. Yeah, that's a lot. Well, before I even comment, we got Tech Code Ralph in the building. Said good morning. He says, I'll
What
confess
up, man?
I'm jealous of that hoodie.
Oh, oh, bro. Uh, the John Michel Basquiat.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. This joint. This is like probably 6 or 7 years old, man. But I appreciate that. I don't wear it a lot because y'all know how stuff starts getting those little peelings or like those little uh
Yeah,
ball
the
things
gout stuff on off.
on the hoodies, man. Yeah, this one has a lot. I had got one of those little cutters. I need to do it, but yeah, I figured you couldn't see it super super well on the camera, so I went ahead
Hmm.
and pulled it out. Uh, but yeah, this one's old from actually Forever 21, believe it or not.
Oh wow. Forever 21. Takes me
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
That
yeah.
takes me
Supporting
back.
black artists today, I guess.
Yeah. He's like, not Joseph Hoodie. He had to be specific. Obviously, I knew it
No.
wasn't mine.
Normally you don't
Uh,
wear hoodies, so that I just assumed that he was talking about mine because normally you don't wear hoodies, but
yeah,
that's
no,
cool.
yeah, it is what it is because we're battling the cold here as well. I mean, we had our
Yeah.
snow about probably 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But because it's where we live in the Northeast, it's like snow is snow. so
Yeah, y'all have
so
that.
yeah, it was
We
like an
don't.
inch and a half. Yeah, I was about to say it's crazy, and that kind of leads into what I was going to ask you about because there's been some I mean, Miami didn't get it, so Texas Ralph is fine, but there are other places that definitely got hit that we're going to talk about. In regards to my weekend, though, it was pretty much uh, a standard weekend, and I'm going to talk about technical discount a point in a moment, but it was just a standard weekend for me working on the show. We had a show with Jeffrey Scruggs, CTO venture for them, and a data scientist, AI, machine learning expert, and he was just talking
Hey,
about just how content creation really kind of set him up, and it's something that we preached on this channel before. How he basically just started posting things, and sharing his experiences and his knowledge, and then the government reached out to him. I'll just say that, and they invited him out to a place and they hired him on the spot. so
that's how it
it's just kind
works.
of it's kind of one of those things that I would encourage anybody that's watching this or watching on the replay or listening on the podcast. You have some things to offer. If you put yourself out there, you never know where it's going to lead you. So if you want to go out and check the episode, go ahead and do it. But yeah, Trey, you're going to say something?
No, man. I mean, I'm just a firm believer of it, bro. Like it hasn't been super, super long where you could literally post something that and around the world, people
Yeah.
around the world have the opportunity to see it. And not
Yeah.
only that, you're helping them.
Yeah.
Like if you really want to like do something in this world or actually be seen for something, it's not really hard. You just literally have to share what you know. There is somebody looking for it. And I
Yeah.
don't know, like people get caught up in numbers like, oh, but I'm not at, I don't know, 50,000 or 100,000 per post that I do and all this stuff. I don't know if y'all realize, go put 1,000 people in a room. Go
That's a
put
lot.
100 people in a room and go stand in front of them. It's not a small feat. Like if there's 100 people looking at what you put out, if there's 1,000 people looking at what you put out, go get in, go see what that looks like.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of people, So
Yeah.
don't anyways, whatever just put it out there. That's all I'm saying. Somebody needs to hear it. And also, I'm gonna put it like this: if you don't, and you have the ability to do it, you're being selfish. You're being
Mm,
selfish because you're withholding information that somebody needs that could possibly change their life. So there you go.
mm. Good way to reframe that for sure. And I want to go to Tech Coach Ralph's second comment because he was funny, but he said I had to rewind just now. I heard the government reached out and invited him to a place, and
Yeah,
I
I know,
got
right?
nervous. Well, it was a
That's a
job
fact.
fair. That's what he got invited to. It was a job fair. And so from there, he got hired on, and he started I believe his, not started his career, but he continued his career and was able to kind of move from there in certain areas. So we talk about relationships, we talk about AI, machine learning, and we talk about how that affects jobs. So definitely check out that episode when you get the chance to do so. Also, 59 degrees in South Florida with the
That's a
shivers
win for
emoji.
sure.
That's type of weather where you would see. I mean, you still people see people with shorts out here sometimes, but that's where you people see people
Oh
like tank
no,
tops and ready to go. They're like, "Oh, this is lovely. This is
not sleeping
springtime."
in. Woo, sleeping in shorts. That's
Yeah,
next level. That's
I
next
know.
level.
Oh,
Nah,
we
we got
got
a high of 49. So you 10 degrees higher than us, bro.
yes, sir. And we got Ty Smith in the building. He said, "What's up, guys? What's up?
What's
Uh,
up? I say, what's
what's up?"
up?
Yes, sir. What's up? That one too. Going back in the day. But yeah, man. I don't know if you remember that reference, but from the scary movie. What's
Yeah, yeah,
up? We made
yeah.
fun of
Man, I haven't
Patrick.
seen that in a minute, but yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Martin fan, so I got a couple episodes in.
Yeah, no, that's a dope reminder of just good old times. But listen, y'all, thank you so much for everybody dropping by, man. We just got to talk about a couple of things before we get into the show. Like it has been quite an experience. In fact, if I could throw that visual out there for the podcast listeners, there was I don't know if it was AI or somebody that graphically designed it, but there was a picture of the United States where one side was covered in snow and ice, the other side was covered in fire, and that's
Dang.
how it kind of like feels right now, where half of the country is going through the snowstorm. In fact, there's a couple states that were hit, Dallas being one of them, Texas, right? So it actually swept through there. Y'all experienced
Yeah.
it. But there's also
Yeah.
Mississippi, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, North Carolina, and South Carolina. Some of these southern states were like, "What is snow?" So it shut down everything. Everything was shut down,
Yeah.
and people were not able to function. It was a real like, if you travel on these roads, you are a daredevil. You don't value your life because um, the government's not really prepared to take care of that
I'm sorry to
and
laugh.
clean it up. But yeah, I mean, hey, it, sometimes I gotta laugh because literally, it's like some people, especially us New Yorkers. I'm gonna talk about us. We travel or we move to these states, and we think that we know what it is to drive on this black ice,
Yeah, man.
because of what we experience up here. It's not the same, and so
Speak on it.
it's just, man, it's just like you can talk more from your experiences, but who has been
Nah,
affected by
me.
the snowstorms that are occurring right now? Let me know in the chat. I know that we have some friends out in the southern states that I mentioned, so let me know in the chat there.
Yeah, ours is over for sure. They were only expecting like I think Friday, Thursday, Friday,
Yeah,
maybe a little Saturday. It ended up being like Thursday night, Friday, all day Friday, and then by Saturday it was kind of melting away. But
yeah,
nonetheless, Friday it did shut it down here in the DFW airport or area. I think like 2,000 Southwest flights were canceled and stuff like that.
yeah,
Uh, what else? Yeah, you always have the people, man, the people here. I don't know. I never even thought to think about it, but
yeah.
maybe it is people from different states who come in. We've been having a lot of that. People moving in from other states and stuff. But yeah, people
Hmm.
start driving real reckless in the rain and when it's like does snow here. They be
Yeah,
in their trucks, we got the big lifted trucks here, and then next thing you know, they fly by you, and then you're rolling past them. Uh, Unfortunately, it happens all the time. But yeah, man, it was pretty interesting to see for sure.
yeah. No, absolutely. And so it kind of leans to, unfortunately, the other things that we're seeing right now, with uh half of well, not half of the country, but the state of California and everything that's going on there.
Yeah,
It's been sad.
yeah,
It's been sad. And so my hearts and prayers are definitely going out to everybody that has been affected by the fires in LA, that have
yeah,
been
man.
sweeping through and really kind of causing major damage. Uh
And
where
dude,
are we getting?
the saddest part about that is the insurance companies, man. I don't know if you heard about that, like that whole thing, but
Hmm.
like apparently, they've been knowing stuff for months, and so they've been canceling policies or just like not telling, or letting them know, but then like the prices is going like through the roof, and so people
Yep.
just didn't even have like fire insurance, like
Yep.
literally from like maybe 3 months ago or just like recently. And yeah, so now it's like that's a whole other problem, right? Because I
Yep.
think there's the YouTuber DDG. He thought he had he thought he had fire insurance because he did, but then
Yeah.
come to find out they canceled it, and now his house caught on fire, and who knows what happens. And it's okay. I mean, it's not okay ever, but like you can deal with it when you have maybe millions of dollars. But what about all those
Hmm.
people who like, yo, this was
That
the
was
house
it.
was million. The house was $1 million. That's it. Like we don't have anything else. Like
Yeah.
that's a mean get out, man. And one thing about it, we definitely got to pay attention to these insurances more, because I didn't realize it till this happened. I started looking into it a little bit, man. Like these insurance companies, they pay millions of dollars a year for consultants and consulting fees just to like forecast and figure out what's happening so that they can try and get ahead of the curve and do this kind
Mm,
of stuff, man.
mm,
But yeah, I know for a fact probably property taxes are going to get like go sky high, and
mm.
yeah, people are just not going to be able to get homes in like in those states and stuff like that. But yes, it's a tough thing to see, and this graphic is crazy.
Yeah. Definitely, it's a bit more, as you may call it, embellished, but it's a powerful image just to show what's going on right now in regards to
Yeah.
the world. If you can't see it on the podcast, like I mentioned earlier, it's basically one half of the country on fire, one half of the country covered in ice. One thing, I mean, go back to your point without diving too deep in it because it's a lot to uncover there. Uh, you know, that is definitely a huge conspiracy when you're looking at
I
it,
mean, what's crazy
right?
is it's not a conspiracy, bro. Like literally, people were getting notices saying that like their fire insurance is getting canceled, and
Yeah,
a lot of insurances are just totally leaving the state of California, and it's
yeah,
not because basically, bro, it's because they knew like there's certain areas that um were like literally set up to like perfectly for this to happen, and they
yeah.
didn't want anything to do with it. And then you couple that with the state setting in uh like laws, I guess, where you can't get like you can't take away like shrubs and stuff like that. Like you can't get it out of it. You gotta leave it.
Mm,
Like it's just setting it up for a disaster, man. And yeah, months later it's happened. So yeah, I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know if it's conspiracy, bro, when it's like that blatant for real, for real.
Mm,
Like you just
yeah,
can't get insurance in California.
yeah, yeah. It was a terrible time for everybody that's involved. So if you know anybody, definitely hearts and prayers right now for those that are affected by it. Tech Coach Ralph says we're affected in South Florida. Y'all filled up our streets. I mean,
Us
honestly,
too.
it's a max exodus from the more, I would say, pricier places to the second most pricier places, which
Yeah.
unfortunately is raising up the prices of the places that you are right now. So I totally get that.
Yeah,
Um,
buddy. I think at
yeah,
the height of it, it was like 30,000 people a month moving here to DFW.
yeah. I think it literally is the fastest growing market right now is DFW in the
Yeah,
United
man.
States for sure. 100th of the country at the beach. Ugh. Anyway, I'm gonna move on before he starts rubbing it in a little bit more. But yeah, let's talk about a few different topics today. We got the TikTok ban that we're gonna have to talk about again because this is about to be the final countdown, and then we have the rise of jobs, the things that you should look out for over there, as well as we're gonna be talking about an AI tool of the week that you may be familiar with, but you may not. But if you're interested in podcasts, you definitely want to listen up for that. So let us begin by talking about the final countdown, as they say, to the possible, it looks like definitely happening, but we'll see, TikTok ban. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Trey, to share more.
Yeah, I mean, it does look like. Oh, and Tech Coach Ralph, I heard about that too. Yeah, Florida and California, bro, hard to make stuff shake when on the insurance side. But yeah, when it comes to TikTok, bro, and this ban, it seems like it's for sure gonna happen. But who knows? Maybe you can get that last second Chef Curry at the buzzer, from the half court. I'm just saying maybe something will come through, but it's definitely looking like this is the last week you will see an update on TikTok here in the US for the time being. So basically, if you don't know, there is an ultimatum, and yeah, January 19th is 2025 is the deadline. They're requiring TikTok to either transfer ownership to a US based company or shut down the US services. So basically, TikTok has made it clear it's not going to negotiate a last minute deal to stay operating here in the US if a ban is upheld. Um, basically, TikTok's attorney was like, at least as I understand, excuse me, this direct quote, at least as I understand it, we go dark. Essentially, the platform shuts down. So that's what he said straight from TikTok's attorney, Noel Francisco. Now, here's some numbers. Y'all, 170 million people, US users are on TikTok, probably on there daily. Like it's a lot. And yeah, they're just gonna lose access for the most part to like all the stuff. So basically, if TikTok shuts down here in the US, it could be significant. Like for users, you got those millions, like 170 million users that are going to lose the platform, and being able to basically interact, get entertained, create. When it comes to content creators, a lot of content creators are going to lose some bread. They're going to lose some money. Like, especially for the ones who use TikTok as their main source, or like, you were on TikTok Shop, all night sleeping on a beanbag, to show how soft it was and all that kind of stuff to make the money. Like, now you're just going to be sleeping on the beanbag because it's probably going to be gone. And then as far as for advertisers, obviously, y'all know this how these platforms make the most bread is just literally the platform is free. Advertisers come on and they can advertise on that platform to you because of all the information that platform knows about you. And that's how they make the money there. And so obviously they will lose that. So anyways, for right now, the Supreme Court, they heard an argument on January 10th regarding the appeal to block the law, and that's all they did was heard it. A majority of the Supreme Court justice seemed like literally like they're going to uphold that ban, and really their main thing is expressing concern about TikTok's ties to China and the potential national security risk. Here's the thing, where we at? My for some reason my document is like not scrolling down, but I'm going to keep moving forward. A majority of the Supreme Court justices, basically, if they don't block the law, TikTok says it's going to go dark. Like I said, this ban is going to. I want to be clear here. This is what more than likely will happen. I don't know if y'all seen this before with other apps and just didn't realize it, but the ban is going to require TikTok to remove the app. So it's going to basically prevent new downloads. Now, that being said, existing users could possibly keep the app, but you're definitely not going to receive updates, and then it's going to potentially lead to like, security vulnerabilities. Like, that's why they do the updates to keep the security there, but you're not going to be able to get an update. So that more than likely that's what it's going to look like. Yeah, President-elect Donald Trump, he has called for a delay until after he's put in office. But yeah, so far they ain't said nothing yet. So yeah, y'all, that's what it's looking like over at TikTok. It looks like this is probably gonna be the last week.
Yeah.
It's so hard to say goodbye, but that's where we are right now.
Yeah, I'm about to say that's where we are. And like a couple things that you mentioned too was
Yeah,
President-elect Donald Trump. He was first in favor of the ban,
yeah,
but now he proposes a 90-day delay or limited enforcement once in office. So I
yeah.
don't know if that's the influence of the people that he have around him. We have Elon Musk, we have other people that are around him now, that are saying, "Hey, hold your horses. We could work something out." But there is definitely a change that is a brewing. So listen,
Yeah,
y'all.
it's one of
Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. Real quick, it's like one of those things where maybe the older generation, and he's on the older side, they just didn't really understand what was going on. Like for instance, I think he was a Congress dude. Like he literally was in there talking about, this app is terrible for our children. Like, all this, he was going
Mhm.
on about all that stuff. Then he pulled it out. He was like, look at this, and he pulled it up on his phone, and he was going through his For You, and his For You page had like all kind of, I'll just say spicy stuff on it, like as he was going through. And literally they were looking at him and they were like, yo, I think this was like the head of TikTok or something like that. He was like, your For You is literally for you, like it's based on what you like. So
Yeah.
it's showing you the stuff that you like. And that's why it keeps showing it to you. So it's one of those things, right? Like if you don't understand it, for the most part, you're scared of it. That's in a lot of ways, that's what it is. And so I just think they need to take the time. Like you mentioned, somebody probably took the time, explained to Donald Trump what was going on for real on the platform.
Yeah.
Um, and maybe all the money you can make, and then boom, next thing you know, hey, you know what? Let's see if we can get some paused until I can get in and maybe make some change. But yeah, it always starts with the education first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me go to the comment section before I add
Yeah,
in
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Tech Coach Ralph says, while I don't have enough evidence to support the TikTok ban, the creators on TikTok had over a year to prepare. So, so basically said, hey, you had some time. And we're gonna talk about that in a moment regarding what where people could probably be migrating to next. But let's go to Ty Smith's comment. He says it's crazy that we live in a world where Facebook can hire a lobbying company to persuade politicians to take down their competition.
Yeah,
Um, uh,
man. That's next level.
yeah.
Uh hey, where they just start fizzling our podcast when we start talking about it, it just start glitching
Wait,
and
what
then it just
happened? Like how you see my screen kind of ends up just crashing all of a
yeah,
sudden.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
bro. Like, yeah, definitely getting on the watch list for that type of stuff right there. But seriously, man, like, oh, he
you
got
got
the
the you got the receipts.
he got the info. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure, I know it happens for sure. And I bet they got paid a pretty penny.
Oh,
He said the
oh yeah.
company was called Targeted Victory. Um,
Yeah.
which is hilarious in itself. Like,
You're glitching.
like,
You understand? You started going in and out, brother.
did I really?
Yeah.
Oh, snap. Oh, crap.
Might be the weather. Who
Um,
knows?
uh, yeah. As soon as I started saying the lobbying company was called Targeted Victory, it started glitching. That's some wild stuff. Uh, Ty said, "I'm the messenger." LOL. Yeah, no, seriously, man. We got to get it out there because also I think a lot of times over the years,
Hmm.
especially back in the day, the average American had no clue how this stuff worked. And so they were just getting over it. They were just doing what they wanted, right? And we just had to go along to go along with it because we didn't
Yeah.
know that it was even happening. And
Hmm.
now we kind of see this stuff. We can watch it in real time. We can go read the documents and go through the whole thing. And it's like, yeah, you can't hide this one. I need some explaining. You need to
Yeah.
make it happen. But yeah, no, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is something else, and so yeah, I'm gonna go back to one more comment that Tech Coach Ralph mentioned here. He says, "Do you know what will happen to the website?" Honestly, I believe, and this could be wrong, but I do believe that by the U.S. based companies, they would be required to stop providing services for TikTok's website. That's one thing, so that's gonna halt everything that we talked about before in regards to the TikTok shop and stuff like that. Even though a lot of the shop came from outside the U.S., but because of the regulations they have, it prohibits hosting companies from providing services to TikTok, which is going to affect TikTok in general. And users attempting to access the website may see a message stating that the service is not available in their country. So that's going to probably happen to the website. I mean, there's a few things that will probably happen. It
Yeah,
may
like I
That's another
mentioned.
thing too. We talked about this last time about TikTok actually establishing partnerships. Remember we talked about that too, where they may have
Mm,
another company that assumes another name that can help with. And I don't know if you saw it, but there's Lemon 8, I think that's what it's called, where they basically say, hey, want to migrate your TikTok over to Lemon 8? You could do it here. Who owns Lemon 8? You know?
yeah, that's a good
And
question.
yeah.
I know Mr. Wonderful. He from the Shark Tank. He talked about purchasing it. But one thing to be clear, this is why I think it probably will not happen, bro. And
Mm,
they will shut down is because actually the Chinese government was like, we're not going to sell if it has anything to do with our algorithm. And
mm,
obviously that's what they want. So like,
mhm.
if you're not going to sell, if you have to involve the algorithm, and that's what the people who you're selling it to want, you're probably not gonna make a deal. So
Yeah.
I don't see it happening. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier too, it's possible that the app could stay on your phone, like if you already have it, and then new downloads won't be able to happen, and existing users can keep the app, but you won't have any update. You won't get any updates, and then that opens you up for security problems as well.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely something that you do not want to happen. But listen, y'all, we are definitely gonna be talking about it. And here's one thing I want to actually add as we're talking about this subject is what apps do you predict people will migrate to? what apps do you predict? Everybody gonna run back to Instagram if they left? Like, what do you think? I mean, there's another thing that came out too. For those who have been following Isaac Hayes, he been mentioning, and it actually is on
Junior,
yeah, I think he's
yeah,
the third. Is he the third?
or the third,
But
maybe. I don't know. I know
yeah,
he's, you know, I
he's one of
I,
them.
I just wanted to be clear for them. I've seen some of his stuff on some interviews he's done, but yeah, he's one of
Yeah,
them. The junior, the third, one of them.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
actually,
he's probably the third. He's younger. He's the
yeah.
third. Gotta be.
Well, well, yeah. Well, the reason why I bring him up is because he is the CEO of Fanbase, I believe the founder of it as well, and they shot up to like I believe eighth in the App Store behind X or Twitter and a few other social media platforms. And so it's amazing to see how sometimes when you position yourself without even knowing it, sometimes you position yourself, you put yourself in a position you could reap the benefits of things
Yeah,
like this.
you got to
So
be in position.
yeah, take a route that you'll be able to sideload it on Android. Uh, yeah, and then tell Isaac to pull up on the podcast. I gotta actually I
That's
probably
a
have to come
fact.
to him. I probably have to come to him, set up shop over there, pull up on the podcast.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah,
I know
I
he's
mean,
getting out there right now. He probably been I need to look. He's probably been on a little campaign, last
hmm
little bit, because I
oh
mean
yeah,
it's looking pretty grim. And then also, by the way, people get over there and then actually like it. And so it's like it's a win-win for him and the brand, because it's like, yo, you're looking for another spot because you're
yeah,
scared about this potential ban. You might as well come over here. And then you get over there and you're like, yo, I like what he's doing. Versus you
yeah.
probably would have never did it if this wouldn't have been happening. And so yeah, I like that idea, man. I like it.
Yeah, and in fact, I decided to go ahead and try it. I'm going to check to see if it migrated over because it was going to take some time. So I did download fan base, and I'm going to try it out because a couple of things that they say. This is not a promotion to them because I haven't used the platform as of yet. But
Yeah,
their claim to fame is that they don't suppress creators of color, black, brown, whoever it may be. They don't suppress it, and they pay their creators a bit more, according to what they say. So
let's
let's
go.
see how that
Let's go.
grows, and if it blows up. Also, I'm not sure if it's still available, but they're allowing people to buy stock within the company, about 60 shares for as low as $400, I believe. Hey,
Now we talking um
yeah,
English.
yeah. He's like, this is my language. That's let
um
me.
yeah, that's, bro. I mean, because that, I mean, here's the other side of that. Like, where else have you seen that outside of, knowing about it early on? So are these like company, like you get in on the company price stock, or is it not? It's not like it's
I
not
didn't
on
even
the
know it's still
market yet.
available. No, I don't know if it's still available. I think it would be
Okay,
like,
okay. No, that's a cool idea though, right? It's
yeah, before it goes public.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah, so and I think there's only a few spots left according to when I last checked it. But you know how it is. Sometimes these videos are old and they're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
circulating. But yeah, he's definitely been on a campaign, um, just showing how where it's growing. But this is the thing: there's going to be a rise in social media platforms, and let's see who rises to the crop. You know, we know about Instagram. We've been there, done it, seen it, right? But there's going to be a merge. There's going to be an exodus of people leaving what was, which is TikTok, and there's gonna be a genesis to what is to be. I have Ty in the comments saying also try out Black Rise by
Yeah, I was gonna
Favilla.
ask him.
That's a new up and coming one. Yes, yes, I downloaded that app
Because I
as
knew he
well.
had mentioned one not long ago, and I was gonna ask him to see if he could um bring it back up because I forgot the name. But yeah, so I'm writing this one. I'm writing these down too, y'all. Y'all know I like to test stuff. I like to look around. I like to do all of that. Um, so yeah,
Yeah,
I'm on it.
yeah, he's like, I'm on it right now, and I'm actually there's a way they have it just to go back to fan base real quickly, and then I'm gonna probably let you digress from here. But the way they got it set up is that you could get paid based off of loves. So if somebody gives you a love, kind of similar, I believe, to in some ways to TikTok. If you get 100 loves, $1, 500 loves, it's like $5, and then you could keep going up to like 25,000 loves, which is about $219. So there's a very kind of clear way of how you could monetize on the channel. As for people that
That
have
is
big
clear.
followings, they could add up. And I'm pretty sure there's other like brand deals and stuff like that they got going on as well that you can do. But it just shows that the platform is trying to do something in regards to paying creators for their content. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And then Black Rise, we gotta do a feature on Black Rise. So I gotta get something. I gotta get
Yep.
something on for Villa and set something up so we could dive deeper and share what she's got going on. So that'll be dope. That'll be dope for sure. Um, so let's definitely talk about that more, Ty, when we get the chance to dive deeper into that. But right now we are going to switch it up to something that actually the part of what Ty was saying. But before we go, he said both platforms, Fanbase and Black Rise, are accepting investors. Good to
That's
know.
awesome.
So let's say that one more time for the person in the back. Both platforms, Fanbase and Black Rise, are accepting investors. Get your coins together, y'all, because this is, especially if it's official by the 19th, this may be a really good investment opportunity. I'm not
Yeah.
giving investment advice because I'm not licensed to do so, but I'm just saying, allegedly, this seems like a good time. Just saying. Yes, sir. Well, with that being said, we're actually going to be transitioning over to one of our favorite segments, formerly called the Bulletin Board. Now it's the Tech Wire. This segment is powered by Black Tech Global, your premier directory for upcoming tech events. Again, that's blacktechglobal.com. Check out blacktechglobal.com for and more. And so we're going to start off with what's happening right now. We got diversity a Connect Philly mixer. That's only $10 to go right there in Philadelphia, PA. So if you are in the area, check that out. Then we're going to be a Black Tech Saturdays meetup on January 25th. This is in Detroit, Michigan. January 7th, 27th, we have City, or City, I always pronounce that wrong. Tech Talk, Data Security, and FinTech Mixer, which is happening in Atlanta, Georgia. $0 down for that one. January 28th, we have Wonder Tech Fest. It's happening. It's virtual, but it's happening. It's $100 for that on January 28th. So you want to check that out. Then January 30th, we have the Mixer Dallas Tech Industry Mixer that's happening in Dallas, Texas for $20. Listen, y'all, these are great prices, things you want to do. So if you're in the Philadelphia area, Detroit, Atlanta, Georgia, if you even want online, and you want to be part of Wonder Tech Fest, Dallas, Texas is also having it. Listen, y'all, there's plenty of opportunities out there that won't break the bank. So check it out for yourself. And go to blacktechglobal.com for more. Again, it's blacktechglobal.com, your premier source. And that is it for the Text Wire. But yes, go to blacktechglobal.com so you can get the full scoop right then and there. So listen, y'all, I'm going to talk about this because I saw it come up on LinkedIn. So this next segment is courtesy of LinkedIn itself in regards to 2025 jobs on the rise. So whenever there's something like that impacts our viewers, we want to kind of at least be able to look at the information and share the information with you to see if it aligns with anything that you're looking to do, or if you're looking to pivot, this may be a place that you want to pivot. So just a quick summary, and then we'll get right into this list. And feel free to jot it down. If there's anything on this list that interests you, let us know in the comment section below. Yeah, before I do, Tech Drought says Tech Avon Barksdale. You gotta give me more info on that. But Tech Avon Barksdale. But in regards to this list, first on the list for top 5 fastest growing jobs is AI engineering, which is the average salary is around 106. For that 106K, a little bit above that. We have, and that basically, as it says, AI engineers take the top spot for reflecting the rise of machine learning and automation as the foundational technologies across nearly every industry, which is the truth in a lot of ways. A lot of people are hiring for that. Then there's this is interesting, AI consultant, which pays a little bit more on average. Companies are turning to AI consultants to help design, implement, and integrate AI solutions into business processes. It sounds like something for you, Takeoff Ralph. Uh, so definitely check that out. There's physical therapists. That's actually something that is on the rise because of people looking into preventive care. Workforce development manager. The role highlights a growing need for organizations to invest in employee skill development and retention strategies. Interesting. And then travel advisors coming up there as well. People are looking to get on out, and so they're looking
That's
to travel
hilarious.
advisors to help that to help them with that. They want to travel. They get into tech, right? They're working remotely. They want to kind of maximize their time. Then there's event coordinators, because in-person events are huge. So that's something that has been big, and it's not just for corporate, but even for weddings and other different events that are occurring throughout the year. Then we have the director of development. This directors of development are particularly in nonprofit areas or academia, and they're key to securing funding and driving growth for these organizations. So I decided the top 10 because it's a long list, but number 8 on the list is outside sales representatives. These are the boots on the ground. These are field sales representatives. Their role underscores the continued importance of relationship-based sales, consultant sales, face-to-face sales, and how that is impactful even more than just something that's inside sales or virtual. And the last two are sustainable specialists. This is averaging around 122. So it's probably one of the highest on this list. But basically, businesses are increasing their hiring of sustainable specialists to help meet environmental regulations, implement green initiatives, and promote corporate responsibility. This is huge. There's some companies that all they do is based on sustainability. So yeah, this I could see that being a big deal. And last but not
Yeah.
least, I mean laugh because it threw me off guard was security guard. Security guards remain a critical part of the workforce and promptly safe, in the area of heightened concerns over public security. So whenever there's a place that okay, public security is a threat, security guards, you're gonna be good. So out of that list, because the list is extensive, what would you say is a job that you feel, oh, I need to probably look into that? And
Top
Ty,
flight security of the world, Craig.
yeah, good reference, good reference. Oh man. I was gonna say, Ty, there's something that I mean, maybe you want to talk about at another time, but that outside sales thing could be a little bit more than just what they're mentioning here. It could actually be channel management, and that could be included in that conversation as well. But let me go to what Tech Coach Ralph says. He says, about to get into the large language model course in a few minutes. I'm getting prepared. So yeah, he's gonna be going on to his channel talking about that. So if you want to check that out after our show, it's going to be happening, I believe, around 8 o'clock. He's going to be getting into that, and you could dive in with him where he's learning on the fly with y'all. So you get to learn together. And so, yeah, definitely check that out. And we have Mitch in the building earlier as well. What up, Mitch?
What up? What up?
With the eye emojis. He's new here, if y'all didn't know that.
He
So
probably really is.
yeah, he's like, I'm brand new here. Never been to this tech talk, talk that tech side of the building. But yeah, so let me pause there and say, what are some what part of that list intrigues you the most? Like, what part of that list said, ah, I didn't think about that before.
That's funny. For me personally, I guess the well, I never mind. When you were at physical therapists, like when you were there, I thought you meant in the work. Like I thought you were sharing roles in the workplace. So I'm like, oh dang, they putting physical therapists in the in the job, like in the companies. Like I know,
Mm-hmm.
they have them come in, right? Like get you a little massage and stuff. But I thought they were putting them in the company. But you just mean as you went on, I was like, oh, okay, he's just mean in general. So
Yeah,
but yeah,
jobs in
outside of
general.
that,
Yeah,
for me personally, the artificial intelligence consultant, like that
yeah.
was interesting to me because right now we're in a stage of learning and a stage of growing. And so if you can literally position yourself to learn about the stuff and then understand it and then understand how that can help others or help other companies, you can set yourself up to literally uh, you know rake it in as a consultant on the AI side. Like literally that
Mm-hmm.
100 and it says our average salary 113,000. Well, how about I just piece out my time to multiple companies, and
Mm-hmm.
I come in for 4 months and get that 113K, and change your company around by adding in these AI features and stuff like that, or the things that you can use to whether that's cut out employees or just speed up the time, it would be worth it. So that was interesting to me, is because you just learn it. So
Yeah, yeah, and this and it's funny you mentioned that because I'm thinking about a couple of these positions, and I'm gonna still want to spot my question for later because I know Tech Coach Ralph has to leave soon. He says AI engineer for sure. I want to create workflows that streamline our processes as creators. So I thought that was very interesting that he
that
said
is
that. But
interesting.
yeah, for me, and I don't know if Ty is still here, but for me, I'm looking at the AI consultancy, right, and outside sales, and I'm thinking like, man, that's like those two combined kind of lead to the world of the channel where you can really be an AI consultant because you could come to a company and say, hey, I don't have allegiance to any of these particular companies, but here are a bunch of different AI solutions that you could look into,
Yeah,
for your need, and you kind of become that consultant for them. At the same time, you are doing sales, so it's like I was like, I was connecting the dots, and then Ty said, "I wonder if any of those jobs will be replaced by AI in 2024." Now,
I can tell you one that's gone by probably in the 2025. That travel
travel
advisor,
advisor,
out of
yeah,
there, bro. Like they have stuff right now that literally, we'll be able to tell it, like it's connect. It's, first of all, it's already connected to our calendars, and then we'll sit up here and say, hey, you know what? I'm thinking about going to uh Ibiza for 4 days. I don't really care what flight I'm on, so just pick, one of the cheaper prices and put me in a 4-star or above hotel. I want to treat myself, um, and whatever the case may be, and it will literally go through and do all of that, right? I don't know if y'all are familiar. There's a Chrome extension called Do Browser that is
mm,
already, you set it up on your computer and it'll make some stuff shake by
yeah.
itself. Okay, so anyway, yeah, out of there, bruh. Travel advisor, out of there.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think physical therapists is going to be replaced by AI very soon. That is a special skill set that requires human intervention. But yeah,
For
that's the
now,
first thing I thought about. That's the
until
first thing I
those
thought about,
subservient bots come.
which I saw yesterday. Oh man, I'm not gonna say anything to blow it up for people, but let's just say that it gives you pause. I would say don't restart your humanoid. That's where I would say
Okay,
just that's the first mistake that was made.
okay.
Uh, but yeah, there's a lot more into this that we could definitely talk about. But let us know in the comment section below what your thoughts are. How do you feel about this particular subject? And I'm gonna actually pass it to Trey real quickly here after this comment. He says, "Do not have robotic arms for surgery, though." Well, in that movie, that's all they had. That's all they had.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I know what you mean. Steady arms. All of a sudden, it's like
yeah.
Yeah, we don't want that. That malfunction. But yeah, no, I'm gonna pass it to Trey so he can talk about the AI tool of the week. The
Yep.
AI tool of the week, and then we'll finish it off with the brown box special.
Yeah, so I want to run through it quickly because I set up a deal where you can show it. So I'm gonna run through it really quickly so that you can actually show a little piece of it, just to give people, uh, just so that they can see exactly what it's capable of, just very, very small level. But y'all, last week we talked about, first of all, this is the AI tool of the week. And y'all know last week we talked about Chat GPT, but not just the part that everybody already knows, right? Typing in, hey, can you make me a poem about roses? No, 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 no. Not that Chat GPT. We talked about Chat GPT projects. All right. So if you missed that, you definitely want to go, once this is over, go back to Talk That Tech YouTube channel and go click on last week's and watch that segment. But this week, I wanted to talk about another one that was just, when it came out, it just kind of blew my mind, and that's Google Notebook LM. Okay, Google Notebook LM, and it's a AI tool that it really has changed how we can interact with our notes and just a lot of information, right? And the specific piece that I want to talk about when it comes to Notebook LM, well, let me just talk about it. Notebook LM is fire because of the ability to it can transform your written content into audio formats, right? And so that just allows it to be a great tool for summarizing a lot of content or a lot of research notes and all of this stuff, right? So blog posts, it's crazy, y'all. So anyway, here's why it's actually been growing over these last few months. It can analyze your uploaded documents and notes. It can give you summaries and insights on that. You can ask it questions about the content that you uploaded. So you can make like information retrieval like easy because you just put it in there and then you can ask it questions and it'll get it back to you. But here, most importantly, for what like I wanted to focus on today, it can generate audio overviews of your content. So essentially, you can create a podcast from your written material, and it was a 2-person podcast. Here's what you can give it: you can throw in PDFs, audio MP3s, Google Docs, slides, website links, YouTube videos, or you can just copy paste and then text it in there, and then it will turn that into a I don't know, anywhere from like 7 to 13 minute podcast with 2 people on it going back and forth about that information so that you can learn it. So um y'all, Joseph, I don't know if you've seen it, but if you click on link to podcast example, that's where it is. But y'all,
Yep.
before he clicks on it, I just wanted to say it does this in a few minutes, right? Like, so you put in all the information, it does in a few minutes. Some of the benefits of this for me personally, I like listening to audios. Like even when you talk about books, I like to listen to the audio version first. If the book is great, then I'll get the hardcover. Um, so I don't know. I don't know if it's just me. I retain the information that I hear in the audio. I can move around while I'm doing it. So this is something where you can throw in, I don't know, a 50-page doc or something, and then
Mm-hmm.
set it up, and it'll spit out a 7 to 13 minute video, and then or audio, and then you can take off and listen to it and get that information. So Joseph, play like a minute of it just so that people know like what it sounds like and what it creates.
Yep.
Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. Ready to sift through a ton of recent news and reports you guys have sent in?
Always ready.
All right. So we've got everything from the just devastating LA fires to a potential TikTok ban and even some stuff on the future of work. And we've even got a story in our Brown Box special segment that that might just make you rethink your career path. But first, those LA fires are just crazy. Can you believe 16 deaths and over 10,000 structures damaged or destroyed?
Yeah, it's a truly sobering situation. And what makes it even more alarming is that these kinds of fires just don't happen in California in January. This kind of points to that bigger trend of climate change that's been influencing wildfire patterns all over. We're going to be seeing a lot more of these frequent and intense weather events.
Yeah, definitely a wake-up call. These fires were fueled by those infamous Santa Ana winds.
Yeah.
They sound intense, but I've never really understood like how they make the fire spread so quickly.
Yeah. Well, think of it this way, like a giant hair dryer blowing hot, dry air from the mountains down towards the coast. That's essentially.
So, y'all, as you can see here, all I did yesterday was I took our Talk That Text show notes from today. So that's why I was talking about that. I just copied all of our show notes and I put it in there, and that's what it came up with. Now, the craziest part is it's connected as well. So y'all heard when it was talking about the fires, like it was talking about it in a different way, but then it also added in some explanations of like she was getting ready to go into like making it make sense
Mm-hmm.
as well. So the craziest part is right now I saw a comment. It says, "Can we change those voices though?" Right now, no, I don't think so. But you can't. Like I've seen workarounds. Like I think it was like last month or month before. I seen a workaround where you can, you can finagle the voices. It is a workaround. Like you're gonna have to do some stuff, but you can change the voices. With that said, though, it's more or less it cuts down the time. Like if you're a student, I've seen students who are working on like big projects that they just dump in large amounts of information and it distills it down. So again, y'all, some of the benefits of this software notebook LM: time saving, quick, it can quickly convert written content into the audio. It makes your content available to people who prefer audio learning. Remember, you can dump a YouTube link into there, and then it'll redo that. So versatility, it works with a bunch of different types of content, from blog posts to research papers, YouTube videos, etc. And they've been working on this. Like I've watched interviews from some of the creators of this, and they're working on it all, like, day and night. They've been putting in some work, y'all. So it's a really great software. It's crazy. Like, I don't know if y'all heard the nuances in those voices, the little laughs, the little, like, kind of cutting you off. Like, it's a real conversation. So, but it's not at the same time. But yeah, interesting, y'all. Interesting.
Yeah, I was going to add to that, but I'm going to go to the comment sections first here. Like mentioned, Aaliyah said that's fire, no pun intended. And I agree that it is really dope. Ty actually made a good point too about the voices. He said great technology. I wonder if we can run the audio through 11 Labs or voice AI and clone it to your voices. By the way, let me go back. What up, Aaliyah?
There you go.
I know I kind of went
now
quick
you
there.
on,
What up,
Ty?
girl? Yeah,
you on, Ty?
because if they get that feature updated, that's where I think the money will really draw in. Because right now, you're going to use that for personal use. But if you
Not
are
everybody.
like,
I done seen
well,
some
some people,
it's podcasts out there, bro. It's podcasts
yeah.
out there. They using it.
Yeah, which is another question altogether. Like, is it missing authenticity, or I don't know. Because you know it's not them.
Go back and listen. I don't know if, like, if I didn't tell you, if I just said, hey, here's another podcast that literally bid our stuff before we got a chance to say it today. If I just said that, would y'all have known? Like, would it like, hey, y'all, this is crazy. The voices kind of sound like they're a different color, and they just literally have been taking our shows every week and listen to this one. And if I just said that, I don't know, man. I don't know.
No, it's very, 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 very well done. I've used Notebook LM before, and so I might have had a question of like, that sounds familiar. But you know, but I definitely hear what you're saying because of the fact that it's very, very, very hard to distinguish them. However, what I think Ty is saying here is really going to be the money changer where a lot more people use it. Like, because let's say that we could do like a shortened, condensed version of our show with our voices in it as another episode for people who are like, hey, we needed to get this in less than 15 minutes. That right there is where I think, if they can work that out.
I might work on it. Bro.
Yeah, if they could do that, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we sitting pretty now. We sitting good. Aaliyah said,
on it.
Yeah, let me see. I'm gonna go to the comment section real quick. She said, I was thinking about that, Ty, because the voices sound like they cloned the Choose podcast. so yeah, he's like, wait a second, this don't sound. Yeah. But yeah.
I feel like I watched the interview. I feel like I did. I think it's somebody in the company that they did it off of, but I think I feel like I heard that somewhere, or I read or watched the interview on that somewhere. But yeah, I don't know. But I think we can. I've seen some people change the voice, so I know you can. It's just a little workaround. 11 Labs might be the way for sure. I haven't tested that though.
All right, well that's another. I seems like another part of another AI tool that we can talk about. It's 11 Lab. So the list, the list is growing for sure. But listen, y'all, and then Ty says exactly. Yeah, imagine pumping out 10 to 15 audio episodes a day on various topics, various shows, and trying to monetize them. Oh man, oh yeah, he's
it's happening. Like, Ty, what's crazy is it's happening, and it's happening in all spaces. Like, I'm not saying anything yet, but like, I know, like, I've seen people doing this. Like, they're pushing out content. Like when I made my AI Trey clone, the reason I wanted to make it is because I wanted to see, oh, yo, can I do this? I watched the dude. He literally set up a full automation where it's him walking down the street holding his cell phone. It's the AI version of him. He connected it to 11 Labs and et cetera, et cetera. And now every morning it's him walking with tech news update, not tech, but just the new something news update. I can't remember. Maybe it's AI news update every morning before anybody. Like he's not even doing it though. It's just on automatic. So this stuff is happening. But you're right, Ty. You're thinking at a different wavelength on that one. I like it. I like it a lot. You got music producers who are putting out music that is not real per se, and it's on all the platforms, and they getting streams. I've seen it.
Yeah, we talked about
testing
that
it.
we talked about that too. Like it's like there's
Yeah.
a lot of people utilizing the tools out there. Let's just say that.
Oh yeah.
For sure. A lot of people utilizing the tools.
Yeah, and they'll be mad, but here's the thing. Even when it comes to the music, I was thinking about this. What's the difference between what's the difference between somebody who uses the beat machines and the I don't know, the keyboard on the computer, like not the real piano, not having somebody come in and do the drums, not having somebody come in and do the saxophone part. What's the difference between them doing it from the computer with the beat machine and the beat packs and all this stuff, and somebody who just has the ideas and is able to create something similar? What is the difference between that? I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you just don't know. Man. Well, that's something that we definitely could unpack on another episode, because I think we definitely have a lot that we could talk about this area and the entrepreneurship, the revenue gain that's there. But yeah, if you have not, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. I mean, those who are commenting, thank you. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you are brand new. This is where it's going to be exclusively for Talk That Tech. So if you want any other content specifically for Talk That Tech, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. The subscriptions actually help us to grow and get the word out. So we appreciate you, every single one of you, for that. And with that being said, our segment, one of our favorite ones, the Brown Box Special. And we talked about a physical therapist earlier. This one is kind of lending itself to that, but it's a very inspiring story via Kiora that we got this one. And so I wanted to share with you and let us know what you think about it in the comment section. But can being fired be the best thing that happens to you? I'm going to say it one more time. Can being fired be the best thing that happens to you? So this person says, I was fired from my Fortune 500 company after 5 years of employment. I had to decide to take an early retirement from my job at a big Fortune 500 company. The only thing was I didn't tell them. I mentally checked out and waited until they noticed. Quiet quitting, aka. And I was teaching yoga. I was teaching yoga part-time, and at that point had enough side income that I could pay my rent. I told myself I'll put my 2 weeks in as soon as I got that bonus that was coming on a Tuesday. I couldn't bear another day there, so I took a long weekend and rode my bike around my town, just bumming around and hanging with the hippie crowd who didn't have 9-to-5s. I came back on Tuesday, checked my bank account, and to see the bonus has been deposited. And I work until 4 p.m. and I get a call from HR asking that I come into the office. That was the hardest walk of my life. Legs like jello, and honestly thinking they would collapse underneath me. I knew I was getting fired, and even though I had plans to quit, I still had inner turmoil and resistance. The universe hears what you put out there, they say, and I wasn't taking action, so it did the job for me. I walked into HR. My boss is sitting there looking at me. They gave me a brief rundown and gave me 2 months severance, a vacation payout, and health coverage, plus tell me that I'm allowed to put on my resume that I'm still employed by them for 2 more months. So when I interviewed, the resume could say that I was presently working there. I had absolutely no plans of interviewing for any corporate job ever again, so that never came in handy, but it was a nice way to fire someone. The HR dude leaves the room and it's just my boss and me. She looks at me with watery eyes and said, I know you hate it there. Hate it here. Leave before you become like me. You are not stuck. I've been to your classes, and you have a skill, and you need to give it to the world. Don't let this place steal your light. You are meant for bigger things. And then we hugged. Seriously, I hugged and cried with my boss after getting fired. Did I mention I was teaching yoga at the office once a week? I kept them as a client and taught there for a year afterwards. It's it was a big enough company where I would never ran into my direct colleagues unless they came to see me and take my class. So yes, I got fired or laid off, as they called it, but I didn't end on bad terms. I went on to teach yoga full time, travel the world, and then write you this afterward. The best thing that ever happened to me was getting fired.
It
So I
can
think that was
happen like that. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and I think that there is multiple sides to this story where it's like, man, you have the situation where you have the boss that cares and considerate enough to say, hey, listen, you have great things. Then you have the job giving her a pretty decent package uh, as she's exiting, and then she's able to continue to do what she wants to do, travel the world, teach what she's teaching, and so on and so forth. So I just thought that was a very inspiring story because we've known some people that have either gone through that or going through that. They're in situations that may make them feel like, man, this is the end for me here. When it's not necessarily the end, it might be a beginning to something else.
No, I love that, man. And just a call back from Tech Coach Ralph earlier in the show.
Mhm.
Maybe start that thing, do that thing, because you never know. The thing that you love, there's some other people who maybe want to try it, or maybe they love it too, and it can become the catalyst that does help when these type of things happen to you, right?
Yeah.
So I like what Aaliyah just said. Some people
Yep.
need to be pushed out of the nest, and that's what her boss essentially was doing, right? Like they could have probably let go anybody, um, but sometimes
Hmm.
people see in you more than you see in yourself. Obviously, at this point, she knew like she had something going, but this happens all the time when maybe you don't see it, but people see it on you, right? Like
Yeah.
anytime be be sensitive to listen to the things that people tell you that maybe you're good at, or maybe they're like, man, this comes natural to you. Like, be sensitive on those things, because
Mhm.
sometimes those are the things that God has graced you with to help others in that space or in that area, for sure.
Yeah. 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 That's a really good point because sometimes we don't see it, but others do, and we have to give thought to what they're saying and say, yeah, there might be something there. There might be something there. Push out of the nest, y'all. So, what are you going to allow? If life comes and situations arise and it feels like you're being pushed out the nest, are you going to fly? And I think the question is, I believe you can. We believe you can.
Yes,
So go ahead
indeed.
and spread those wings, birds, and fly. Uh, Inspirational story, definitely inspirational. So, so yeah. Well, with that being said, y'all, we thank you so much for rocking with us on another episode of Talk That Tech. The
#1 tech morning show in the world. We gonna see y'all next week, baby.
Yes, peace and elbow grease.